I mentioned South America. This is the second part of the intel. Ecuador was sent funds to kick-start their economy last week, along with Argentina. And what happened next, which is why I put the news portion about Argentina in, is the IMF sent what amounts to stormtroopers to the central banks in Ecuador and threatened them to not receive the funds from the trust. This is what's going on currently, and this also applied in certain unnamed African countries as well at the same time. Now, some of them countries are backing down and some of the countries are not. I'm not at liberty to discuss which ones are and which ones aren't. It's another powder keg, and there's a lot of threats going on. But it's time all the countries stood up together to these people and their organisations. As mentioned earlier, the IMF's not interested in the growth of your country. It's about stealing the resources. They push you into a debt-based system, put you in loans that you think are good for the country, but they're not. And it's all designed, when they crash it, to then say, well, you can't pay your debt back, so you give us this island, or you give us this port, or you give us this airport, or you give us these roads, or you give us these in-ground resources. This is what they've done globally. They've proven over and over again that they rape countries, not help or supply. And it's time the countries banded together, be it continents or groups of countries, and remove these clowns. Now, the IMF, along with the World Bank and other central banks, have systematically looted every country. Despite all that, and the rather ironic thing is they still can't fund jack shit, despite all the looting. Why? Because they've leveraged everything, and they've also pledged everything to the trust, which holds vast quantities of assets, which they're not getting back. That's going to go back to the countries. And like I said, they come in with offers of loans here and there, and then they jack up the interest rates until the country defaults on the debt. And this is when they start saying, well, we'll have to have this island, this port, this airport, or this resource to pay off the bogus debt, which is what it is, because they haven't lent anything. They've used the trust to lend it, which is an asset, not a deficit. And this is, as I say, as how and why much of the land and resources around the world ended up in the control of the trust. And you would think that that was enough. But no, they went on and leveraged those assets into oblivion following that. And so this is kind of where we stand today with regards to the IMF.